So welcome back again. The rig is completely built, and I'm enjoying it. I must say I had a few growing pains, so this is basically a review of the rig, and then I will upload after this another video of my trying the streaming using Twitch TV. But I had some trouble. Well, first of all, it took a little bit longer than I thought to build the rig. I was recording every single aspect of it, but it took so long. It would have 5 or 6, 7, 8 episodes of just going through the actual rig build. So I scrapped that. I finished the project, and now the final result is here. I had some trouble getting the dashboard on the steering wheel to work. I had some support from Cube Controls. They made some suggestions, and I think in the end, everything is working now with the dash. This is the one that I've settled on for now. It's probably one of the better steering wheels I've had. I mean, before I had the Fanatic Formula Rim, which was a pretty good wheel. I have it right here. You know, this is the Formula Rim that I had before. It served me very well. I converted it to a USB. I got the bits from Simracing Garage, a fellow in the UK. I converted it to a USB, and I used this adapter to connect it to my AccuForce version 1 steering wheel. This rim was part of a Fanatic steering system that I had many years ago, before direct drive, before Fanatic got into the direct drive space. And I didn't particularly like the rim that came with the AccuForce V1, and so I discovered that there was a way to convert Fanatic rims, and perhaps even other rims, to USB and use the right quick release mechanism to connect it to the AccuForce. And so I'm going from this rim to this rim right here, and I am very much impressed with the Cube Control rim. It interacts nicely with SimHub. In fact, SimHub is where most of the configuration, the profile and everything is done. Of course, this Cube Control wheel also comes with its own software that you could use to calibrate the wheel, maybe update the firmware, fix bugs, different things like that. And in another video, when I go in depth in terms of the different components on my rig, then I will perhaps get into the actual software itself that control this wheel. The quick release system on the wheel is very, very, very nice. I like it. It comes off very easy. The wheel has this mechanism. It's a magnetic connector. If you notice, the lights are out now, right? Because it's no longer connected to the PC. But this magnetic connector just connects, and it's just seamless. Of course, it has the curly cable. So I'm liking the rim. Like I said, I had some growing pains trying to get it set up with SimHub and so forth, but now those growing pains is behind me. The next thing is the Wheelbase. The Wheelbase is the VRS Direct Drive Pro, and I have no complaints at this point with this VRS Wheelbase. The only thing I have to compare it to in terms of direct drive is my AccuForce V1, and there's no way the AccuForce V1, in my opinion, measures up with this. One thing about the AccuForce version 1, or AccuForce in general, Sim Experience AccuForce is that they have specific profiles that are shared via the Sim Commander software. And so if somebody's driving a car that you're driving and they created a profile for that car, then just log in into Sim Commander. If it's available, you can download it and use that profile. Of course, with the VRS, you have to tune and create your profile. I'm not sure if VRS has profiles created that can be downloaded. So I don't want to say they don't have that feature because I don't know if they do or not. So the VRS direct drive system and the Sim Controls RIM are amazing. I think I've done a few laps. I've done a couple of races with this setup and very, very, very smooth. I don't know if I'm faster or more precise with this wheel, but I feel more confident in my driving. So there we have it. So now, of course, I set up the triple screens. I have the Samsung 32-inch triples. And as you can see right here, it's looking very good. I had a little bit of up top, I have my fourth monitor. I still need to adjust this fourth monitor, but this monitor is, I forgot what this monitor is. It's not a Samsung, it's a Z something. I don't recall exactly, a Z Edge, I think is what it is. But up here is where I have my OBS software for streaming the content. And I was playing around with this today to try to see how it's gonna work. And it seemed to be fine so far. So yeah, so far so good with the rig. The seat, I do have a little bit of complaint about the ES1 seat. So I've done a couple of 45-minute IMSA races, and the seat is very, very, very hard after a while, right? I mean, there is not that much padding in here. I mean, it's like a proper racing seat, and so I don't expect that there would be a lot of padding, but I don't have that much in the rear end, and so I feel a little bit of discomfort for the longer races. So what I will probably do is try to find some kind of padding to add some cushion. Aside from that, everything else is fine. The steering wheel, my rig, I don't have it moving around yet. I don't have the motion piece set up yet by choice. But when I put the seatbelt on, it keeps me seated so I don't move around erroneously in the cockpit, which obviously can affect your driving. So this is the old seat I used to use, the GT Track seat, which has a little bit more cushion in there, much more padding, of course, than the ES1 seat over here in my new rig. And the rig is solid. There's no give. The steering wheel, it's very, very, very solid. So I have no complaints in that regard. And of course the pedals, which is the other major component, the pedals are also VRS pedals. I went with the 2-pedal set, the throttle, and of course the braking pedal. And I have to figure out a way to set up the angle properly, because I don't think I am able to brake as precisely as I would like to brake, because it seems like from time to time my foot is not in the same way on the pedals. And so whenever you drive, obviously there's muscle memory, and you remember when you have maximum braking, how it feels. And whenever it's not that way, you could obviously feel it, and then that tends to take away some of the confidence, especially in that particular braking event. So I need to figure out how to properly set up the pedals, what angle to set it, the proper distance from the seat, so that my foot is always applying the pedal, the braking in particular, precisely in the same way every single time. And I think that will lend itself to quicker lap times and more consistent lap times, of course. I have another piece that I'm gonna get at the sound system. So right now I'm using an old Logitech sound system. I have 2 speakers, one here and one over there on the other side. And of course the subwoofer is on the ground. The new speaker system I have coming is going to have 7. It's going to be actually I think 5.1 surround. So I'll have 2 speakers up front, a center speaker, 2 back speakers, and of course the sub as well. So I think that will also lend itself to some more immersion. And of course the keyboard tray, I bought that. It's a little noisy, but yeah, the keyboard tray, I bought that to attach to my rig. And of course the mouse tray is immediately underneath the keyboard tray, but for now, since I don't have a shifter, I have my mouse over here on the right side, which is a little bit more convenient for me at the moment. So overall, I'm still getting used to the rig. Initially, I was torn between the VR and the triple screen. Even after I set the triple screen up, I went back a few times in VR and really had a good time in the VR. But then I decided to give the triples the good college try. And eventually I was able to dial in the field of view properly. And once I got the field of view set up, then, I mean, the triple screen is phenomenal. I really enjoy it. Plus, I'm able to see, I'm able to do more with the buttons on the wheel. I could program now engine maps, differential setting, brake bias changes from corner to corner. In some situation, you might need to change the brake bias here and there. I could cycle through the different menus to see fuel usage, lap times, deltas, all these different things I could see here on this wheel. And so right now, I think my passion for sim racing since now the triple screen has been renewed. And so I'm very excited to start streaming some of this content, and perhaps I'll get some followers, and you guys can experience with me and perhaps even enjoy with me my passion for sim racing. So there you have it. My new rig is built and I am enjoying it. And the next video, I'll upload a little bit of footage from me being on track. It's like a test run trying to see how the streaming content will look. So please stay tuned for that. So here, like, share, and subscribe. The Chronicles of a Sim Racer. Have a good night.